Hey y'all, welcome back to the DG Outdoors channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss whether length of your arrows actually matters and if the weight of your arrow actually matters. And this is going to get really technical, and I hope it makes sense. My brain's been trying to wrap around some things here, and we'll talk about why. Okay. I've got spine chart information, things like that. And really, it didn't make sense to me until I watched a video by the Ranchberry, and I'll tell you guys why. Ranchberry is a YouTuber who does videos about heavy arrow building and is like helping with the Ashby Foundation, which is all about heavy arrows and things like that, and things I won't even get into this video with. Very technical. I just hope this makes sense. And here's why I'm making this video. So this is my girlfriend's Micro Midas 3 compound bow by Browning. Okay, it is set at 28-inch draw length. It has a 30-pound draw weight, which is what this thing's set on. And she's shooting, 28 inches. She's shooting arrows, which are the Easton 2117 Black Stalkers, okay, at 29 inches, okay. And when you draw this thing back, okay, when you draw this thing back, let me try to get so they can see it. You've got that much arrow sticking out of the front of the bow, okay. These arrows shoot really, really well out of her bow. But we can't figure out why. According to the arrow chart that I've been referencing, these arrows are actually designed for a bow up to 65 pounds. Okay, and she can drill the target with these arrows almost every time and do it consistently. I bought her some Easton 1816 aluminum arrows that are actually made for a 35 to 40 pound bow, and she couldn't get these arrows to fly consistently. Yeah, they wanted to fly high. They were all over the place. When I shot one out of my bow, it shot low, but my bow is at 55 pounds, so these were actually underspined for my bow. But either way, I just wanted to try one to see what would happen. But I didn't understand how an arrow that was super heavy would shoot well out of a 35-pound bow. And it was super long. Because normally what they teach you is you draw back, okay, and you're going to go an inch past your arrow rest to determine your arrow length. Didn't make any sense until I watched the Ranchberry video. He does a lot of heavy arrow building, so 500 plus grain arrows, things like that. And I'm not a big person into a bunch of grain weights and all that stuff. I'm just learning about this. But he has a bow called Project Dick Dick, and Dick Dick is D-I-K-D-I-K, and it's named after a small deer in Africa, okay? It's a youth bow, just like, her bow is a youth bow. And they were shooting these really heavy arrows, and he got it tuned, and he got it shooting right. He can shoot out to like 15, 20 yards with it just fine. And then arrow length came into play, and it started making sense to me when he said something like this. They took arrows, okay, 400 spine carbon arrows, cut them down to 26, 27 inches like they were supposed to be, and couldn't get them to tune right out of that bow. He started shooting 29, 30-inch arrows, and they started shooting really, really well. Just like her bow. Don't know why, but just like her bow. Also, it's like I said, he's big into heavy arrows. The heavy arrows for them is like 500, 550, but when I looked up the arrow spine chart and I added everything together, the arrow weight's 349 grains for the Easton Black Stalkers. Okay. and you add 25 grains for fletchings and inserts and nocks, and then the point weight, which is 100 grains, and you're looking at 474 grain arrow. Okay, and she's shooting bullets with these, and it loves it. And again, and they're probably way over spine for this bow, and they're really really long, which brings front of center into it, which I'm not really going to get into, but for some reason this bow really likes these arrows. When she shot an arrow that was actually made for her bow, which is the 1816s, which I'm looking up right now, is a 756 spine, which is 269 grains. So then you add 20, you're sitting at, 300 and something grains on this arrow, and it was shooting way high. And I don't know, it's got to have something to do with those heavy arrows and the arrow length, and for some reason this bow just really likes those. This is a 28-inch arrow. But that's something to think about, guys, when you're setting up a bow. Is don't, everybody wants to go lighter, lighter, lighter. I don't want to add 200 grain inserts up on the front to make my arrow stabilize and do that. I mean, she's shooting a basic arrow with a basic setup on her little youth bow, and it's shooting just fine. So, why? I have no idea. But one thing we did do is I bought her some new arrows. These are the Easton Fall Stalker 2117s, but if you guys look, they're not even cut. They're still a 31-inch arrow, because when I bought them at Dunham's, they didn't have their arrows saw out, cut these 29, 28 inches like I wanted to, and with her shooting longer arrows and them shooting just fine, I just threw the points in there. Yeah, I'm just surprised. I mean, we shot these 400 spine carbon arrows that I actually glued my own fletchings on for her. They didn't shoot worth anything. She was missing the target, deflecting off stuff, way low, way high. We couldn't get it to work, and we don't know why. But it makes me think, after watching some of these heavy arrow builds, that maybe the heavy arrow with the longer length has something to do with grains per inch, which these arrows are sitting at, 12.03 grains per inch. And they're just fine. The only issue we have is right here. It is contacting when it goes down, it contacts the fletching contacts right here. But it's not kicking left or right, and we haven't noticed it. We haven't noticed it like kick the arrow left or right. It's just rubbing right there, and she likes the way it's set up. I did put some shrink tube on there for her to keep it real quiet. But yeah, that's something to look at. Maybe if you're having some tuning issues, try a heavier arrow. Try a longer arrow. And just get out there and try it. So, 6 p.m. tonight, I will be drawing the winner for the Vortex Arrow and Broadhead giveaway. So, hope y'all stay tuned for that video tonight. I'll be doing a drawing. We're going to put names in a hat, and I'm just going to draw a random name, and that's who's going to win. So, y'all, I hope this made some kind of sense. I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind lately, and why I'm still trying to wrap around it. But until I watched Rance Furry's video, and he's like, the shorter arrows, I couldn't get to tune worth anything. Nothing. He goes, I couldn't get it to shoot right, couldn't get it to tune. He goes, I went to a longer arrow, and it started shooting just fine. I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with this setup, too. Just something to think about. So remember, like, comment, subscribe. Jesus loves you. Oh, yeah, I got my hair cut, too. What do y'all think of that? I look good. Jesus loves you. And we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.